Hi everyone, and welcome to our webinar on how to get retail ready for Christmas. My name is Jason and I am the New Zealand Country Manager here at Neto. For those who aren't familiar with Neto, we're New Zealand's only retail management platform that provides a complete solution for e-commerce, point of sale, inventory and fulfillment. We're thrilled to be joined by Darren Hopper, Head of Digital Payments and GTM at Paymark. I'll let him introduce himself a little more. Over to you, Darren.
Thanks, Jason. So yeah, as just mentioned, my name is Darren Hopper and I'm Head of Digital Payments and Marketing for Paymark New Zealand. I'm going to take you through some really interesting and key statistics and insights really that we've gleaned from our network and take you through what that actually means or could potentially mean for you and your business. Before I go into that, just the agenda for this webinar today. So we're going to take you through, as I said, some Christmas spending data and insights from Paymark. We'll highlight some key dates to remember this Christmas, and there is a few of them, so we just need to be conscious around what they are. I'll take you through the Paymark's Insights platform. So this is an interesting platform that can allow businesses to actually get a really good, clear understanding of their business and what's actually happening, which could help you make some really key decisions this Christmas. And then Jason will go into some really good, actionable tips that will get your store ready for Christmas this year and make sure you maximize every single opportunity that's presented to you. So who is Paymark? Well, if you don't know who we are, Paymark have been going for around about 25, 26 years. We like to see ourselves as the lifeblood of the New Zealand economy. And the reason for that is, well, 75% of every card transaction in New Zealand goes over our network. So we see all of those transactions and it's our job to make sure those transactions go through securely and quickly so we can get money to you and from your customers as efficiently as possible. In New Zealand, we've got around 80,000 customers who currently use our services in our network, and it's about 120,000 terminals that are constantly connected to our network and allowing Kiwis to transact in the way that they want to. And what that means is over a year, we'll see around 1.2 billion transactions a year over our network, and it's equivalent, I think, at peak at around 170 transactions per second. So that's cards being presented at FPOS terminals or online throughout the country. So why is New Zealand unique? You may say, well, there's lots of unique things around about New Zealand. One of them is the fact that we're pretty much a cashless society, and we lead this from a global perspective. So as you can see from the chart here on the left, there's a number of countries here, and this is the percentage at which they have a cash being circulated within there and being used, probably more so importantly, within their economy. So as you can see, New Zealand down there, that's 20%. Japan way up in the 70%. Still a lot of cash being used in Japan, and there's obvious reasons for that given their economy. So we've got a very stable economy. Kiwis, we've led the way in innovation when it comes to FPOS. So we've embraced that technology, and really not many people these days carry cash in their wallets. It's all very much around getting the card out and using that. Indeed, most Kiwis will probably use their card around 270 times a year. So that's whether it's in store or getting it out and going online. So we're in a unique position. We've led the way from a electronic payment perspective. But we also need to be really conscious around what's going on in the global markets. And there's some really interesting things coming out from a number of data sources, not just our own. No surprise that online's growing faster than bricks and mortar. So Kiwi businesses are looking at how they can get online and understanding the opportunities that online presents. But we need to be conscious, I think, as Kiwi businesses around what's really going on. So, 44.5% of all online purchases are going to offshore websites. And that's been a 16% increase from June last year. So yes, online is growing and consumers are looking more to go online and purchase online. But I think Kiwis need to really understand how we actually maximize the opportunity here to make sure that we retain and grow our size of that particular opportunity. You probably may have heard stories around Amazon, the global beast. It is coming to Australia. The statistic here from the USA, 42 cents in every dollar is being spent at Amazon online in America. So that's a large percentage of the online revenue and sales coming from Amazon. So, we need to make sure that we've got everything geared up as much as we can to make sure that we maximize the opportunities here in New Zealand. And Jason will give you some really good hints and tips around how we can make sure that we can do that here in New Zealand. Online spend value, $3.8 billion. So there's a lot of money being spent online. And again, that's why we just need to make sure that we're capturing that revenue and seeing that growth here in New Zealand. And I mentioned before about the growth of online. So it's growing around 7.4% versus sort of 4.2 in bricks and mortar. So there is some good growth there. So we're here talking about why is Christmas important. So Christmas, really important. It's probably one of the biggest trading periods of the year. No surprise there, I know. Paymark, as I said, we see a lot of the transactions. We see the majority of those transactions come across our network. And as you can see from this chart here, we've got steady transactions, few peaks and troughs, but it gets to Christmas, the week before Christmas, and boom, we see an explosion in transactions. Indeed, that last week before Christmas, we see an increase of 55% in the volume of sales being made just in the run up to Christmas. And then, as I said, it drops off the week after Christmas. So it's a really critical time to make sure everything is ready to make sure you maximize that opportunity. And just that week before Christmas, we'll see about $1.72 million worth of sales being made. So really critical time. And it's really important to make sure that now, as we run up to Christmas, we've got everything lined up to make sure that we can maximize that sales opportunity that's coming. From a Paymark perspective, do we see any regional differences? Well, we look at the data and we understand that regions are different. This is just an interesting couple of charts here. The chart on the left is showing the spend percentage versus a sort of an average week in the 5 weeks before Christmas. So this is the run up to Christmas. This is when things start to really heat up. So you can see the Kiwi, the average there at 13.8%. Hawke's Bay, huge increase there the 5 weeks before Christmas. So they're seeing around about 14.5% of their average annual transactions happening in those 5 weeks before Christmas, closely followed by the Bay of Plenty. So that area, particularly Hawke's Bay, Bay of Plenty, they're really ramping up those transactions as we come into the Christmas period. The chart on the right here, this is, again, similar sort of information, but just showing that week before Christmas. So that period where everyone's panicking, have I got all the things that I need? Again, Gisborne, so around the Hawke's Bay and that sort of area, up there at the top, as far as getting all those gifts in for Christmas and making sure that no one goes without. And as you can see, the Kiwi average down there. So spending really, really ramps up. So you can see there the week before Christmas, we've got there Gisborne around about 100 and sort of, I think, 73% of the average weekly spending happening that week before. So huge volumes going through our network. It's a really busy time. And this is really where you want to make sure that you've got everything geared up and you're maximizing the opportunity in that week run up to Christmas. So what does this mean for NZ retail? So if you're a retailer and you're running up to Christmas, let's be honest, as we sit here right now, you've probably got what you think is a really solid plan, ready to make sure that you maximize your Christmas opportunity. It's an important time. So as you can see from the statistics here, and this is us, we're using some modeling here from our data sources that we've got. So there's a little bit of, we're predicting some spends here. So don't hold us to every last dollar here, but with the modeling that we've looked at over previous years and looking at the trends, we're predicting around about 3.67 billion will be spent across the retail sector in December alone. So that's the retail sector. We see around, $6.5 billion overall, but in the retail sector alone, about $3.6 billion we're predicting will be spent this year. Of which around about 54 million of that will be spent via online retail channels. So whilst that's good, we still want to see that improve and increase. And I think there's ways in which Kiwi retailers can really maximize their online opportunities here. And Jason will go through a little bit more of that later on. So as I said, online sales growing, but still lagging behind other countries. So we saw growth from last year around 13.4% for online sales. But when we've looked at some of our other data, we've seen that across what we call the mass retail channel, only around 7% have got an e-commerce opportunity there or using e-commerce. So huge opportunity, huge growth opportunity to look at the business, look at your business and see what can actually be done to enhance the offer and the proposition to the Kiwi consumer. And a lot of that can be done online and certainly looking at some of the things that you can put in place to maximize that. So some key dates. Well, how are you going to maximize Christmas? So some really interesting key dates here. And this is, again, using our predictive modeling, what we've seen over previous years. But we're predicting sort of the next 8 weeks, really critical period. Our models are suggesting, and there'll be a few bets placed on this, that the 26th of November will be the date that kicks off a 5-week sort of Christmas spending frenzy. So from the 26th of November, sales ramp up quite significantly. The date that you may see some sales coming through, and this is becoming slightly bigger globally, and certainly within the New Zealand market, certainly within the Chinese population as well. You've got what's called Singles Day. So the 11th of November, and this is a growing phenomenon that you'll see. You know, you've got all the other days that come up, and you'll see the Americans particularly with whether you've got Black Friday and Cyber Monday. But for us here, we're looking at around about the 26th of November is when we start seeing things really heating up from the Christmas period. Around about 13% of the entire annual spending will take place in those 5 weeks. So that's why it's really important for all retailers to get really, really geared up from this day and make sure you've got your promotions, your marketing, your stock, your fulfillment all sorted pretty much for this date, so you can maximize those opportunities. And I said, Jason will go through this in more detail later on through this webinar. And I may have mentioned just previously around what we're predicting as overall spend. So we're sort of thinking around about the $6.3 billion mark throughout December. So that, if that comes through, is probably slightly up from last year. We'll see how that plays out. But as I said, we're always expecting somewhere around the $6 billion mark for spending in December. So as I said, it's a really, really key and critical period for retailers within New Zealand. So some other key dates to be prepared for. So it's not just around the 26th of November. It's not just around the 11th of November and Singles Day. What we're seeing and all of the data that we've compiled from our vast volume of transactions stretching back 26 years is believe that the busiest retail trading day this year is looking at Monday the 4th of December. So we believe that to be one of the busiest, or if not the busiest, trading day of the year. And our modeling's even suggesting that between the hours of 2 and 3 p.m., you'd expect transactions and those sales to really increase. So if you're looking at staff levels and stock and so on and so forth, Monday the 4th of December, 2 to 3 p.m., make sure you're all geared up for that date and that time. Saturday the 16th of December, so in-store retail sector can expect to see sales totaling around about 142 million on this day alone. So this is in-store. So basically this is people coming into stores and transacting. So again, leaving it a bit late. I mean, if you're online buying, you're probably not going to want to leave it till the 16th of December. So we expect to see in-store retail having a very, very busy day on Saturday the 16th of December. And then the final date here is the second busiest day of the year. We're expecting is the 23rd. No real surprise probably from a lot of you out there. That's the last Saturday before Christmas. That's when everybody gets out and does that last minute shopping. Have I got everything? Have I got Auntie Doris's present? Do I need to get something else for the kids, the wife, the husband, whatever? So that's when you see a lot of that, dare I say, panic buying taking place. So Saturday the 23rd of December. But again, our modeling goes down a little bit further level of detail, and we're sort of predicting around 11 till 12. So although you've left it late, we tend to want to get in those shops early. We don't want to leave it too late, and just make sure that we can get those last gifts. We can get them wrapped, get them all put away before the big day on the 25th. So some really important key dates there. So it's really important to understand those sort of dates, what you're actually doing around those dates, what can you expect within your environment, your businesses, to maximize the opportunities for those particular dates and times. So just moving away from dates and times, who the big winners will be, or who the big winners usually be. So let's be honest, as Kiwis, we like to eat, we like to drink, and we like to read a few good books. So when we've looked at the sectors that perform really, really well within retail, we see around about a 71% increase in liquor sales through December. So as I've put there, no surprise there. So we like to stock up on drink, make sure that we've got everything for the whānau and everything's going to be great for Christmas. So yeah, big increase in liquor sales and beer sales across New Zealand in December. We also see the increase in fresh produce, so fresh meat, fish. That particular sector sees a 34% increase. So this is all about getting all the food ingredients, the fresh food, certainly the meat and fish that we need for Christmas Day, and make sure that everyone gets a good feed. So we are seeing sort of the average sort of sales value in December in this particular sector jumps from $32 to $43. So it's not just about an increase in the volume of transactions, but it's also an increase in the value of transactions. So Christmas is a time to probably not scrimp as much and make sure you get the best cut, get the freshest fish. So a lot of time and effort spent within these particular sectors and making sure that everyone gets what they actually need ready for the big day. The other statistic here on books is that we see an 86% increase in book sales. So this is book sales. This is not taking into account digital Kindle sales, and that would come through in the electronic sector. So this is genuine books. This is going into buying a hardback, softback book ready for the Christmas period. So we like to read. So 86% increase in December of book sales. So as I said, we like to make sure that we've got some really good food, got the drinks, and a really good book to settle down and have that long 2, or if you're really lucky, 3-week Christmas break. So how can you become one of the winners? So you've probably heard this in a number of whether different webinars or reports around, existing customers versus new customers, and is it critical to your success? Well, the short answer is yes. If you get customers that keep coming back to your store, you will generate more revenue. You will generate more sales. So some interesting statistics that we've pulled out from our data suggests that returning customers across the supermarket and grocery chain spend on average about 5.5 times more than a new customer coming into that particular or one of those particular stores. So that's a whopping difference of $44 versus $7. So, returning customers or keeping repeat customers happy and coming back into your business does generate more sales. And we've seen other trends like this across other sectors. It's not just the supermarket and grocery chain. We see that growth in probably more transactional sales and revenue across a number of sectors. The other sector which is interesting is the pharmaceutical sector. So we see a 3.6% increase in returning customers year on year from the pharmaceutical and cosmetics retailing sector. So they're showing probably one of the strongest growths in returning customers. If you look at sectors around who's actually bringing more repeat customers back into their business who are spending more, the pharmaceutical and the chemists, the cosmetic chains, they're seeing the highest level of growth there. So they're looking at ways in which they can entice customers back into the stores because they are seeing, like we're seeing, that they're spending more money. So why is that important? So repeat customers, returning customers, customer loyalty, why do businesses spend so much on maybe loyalty schemes or understanding exactly what's happening within their business? Well, probably the key statistic here from what we've seen is if the retail sector alone that we've looked at was to increase the number of repeat customers by just 1%. So that is, if you've got 20% of your customers or repeat customers, if you would just increase that by 1%, it would deliver an additional $38 million a month. So that's $38 million a month for just a 1% increase in repeat or returning customers. So it's really important to understand what are you actually doing to make sure that when customers have come and they've visited your store, they've been on your website, what's going to make them come back? So looking at how you've actually set that up and making sure that customers, when they've gone onto your store, come into your store, they have a really good, strong experience and they want to continue to shop there, because that's where the value is of those customers who are then coming back and spending more with you. So the next chart here just really sort of splits it out by the sectors. So as you can see here, the supermarket and the grocery stores, their repeat customer rates, and this is between October 15 and September 17. So we've looked at this over a longer period, so you don't just get a few anomalies coming through, but 62%. Now you might say that's not really a huge surprise. So you all pick your supermarket and you tend to stay loyal to that supermarket, probably because it's convenient given its location. But in essence, these guys do well because they are getting that repeat business, and repeat customers spend more. And you can have a look at the other retail sectors that we've got here, and you can see the winners and really those sectors that really need to maybe up their game a little bit and understand a little bit how you can increase that repeat customer and therefore that increased revenue. I won't go through all the sectors here, but we can see this information and we can really determine exactly who's doing well. And as I said, who can, there's certainly an opportunity to provide some really good, strong improvement. So again, just that point I made before, if the entire retail sector, and this is just the retail sector, was to increase their returning customers by just 1%, annually, that would be worth just under $500 million in increased revenue and increased sales revenue. So it's a big number, and that's only 1%. So one of the things we ask our customers to look at is, do you understand your repeat customers? Do you understand how many of your customers that you see in the transactions are from returning customers? If you could see that level of information, if you could see whether it was up or down from last week, last month, last year, what would you do to make sure that you could maximize the opportunity that could deliver? So it's just really a point here to sort of just think about and think about ways in which you could potentially increase the number of returning customers or repeat customers that you've got coming into your business. So that leads a little bit into just a really open question: how much do you really know about your customers? And one of the reasons that we're running this webinar series is to introduce a new product called Paymark Insights. And really what Paymark Insights does is pretty much give you as businesses real-time access to a lot of this information. What's going on in your business, how many transactions, how many sales, what's the average sales value, how much of that sales value is coming from repeat customers, are you up or down from last week, how many transactions or how many sales have you done this hour versus last week. So it's a really slick, intuitive dashboard that gives you real-time information that will help you, or should help you, make decisions, because that's what it's all about. I mean, insights is great, having access to insights and this data, but what are you going to do with that information? So we've built a really intuitive dashboard that allows you to have a look at the performance of your business and really make some key decisions on the back of that. What we're also looking to do here is help businesses really understand how they compare with their competitors. So one of the things that we're also looking at within this dashboard is for businesses to be able to compare where they actually are versus what they see as their competition, as far as how many customers, how many returning customers, what's my revenue, my average transaction per customer, to get a really good understanding as to how you're performing. And then understanding what you can actually do to make sure that you're ahead of the competition and performing well against other businesses within your particular sector who are also targeting your customers. So this is just another feature that we're looking to bring into the Insights dashboard to allow small businesses to better understand exactly what's going on within their business. So as I mentioned, I won't labor the point. You can come onto our website. There's a few some contact information in the next slide. You can come and talk to us directly, call us, go online and have a look for yourself with regard to Paymark Insights. But again, I mean, as I said, just in summary, it's a really useful tool in order to for you to really understand exactly what's going on in your business. So as I said before, ability to see return in customer metrics. You get 12 months worth of historical data from day one. So you can see what's been going on in your business for the last 12 months. It's optimized for mobile, so you can have a look at this. You may be fishing, or you may be away from your business this Christmas, but you can still keep an eye on what's actually going on within your business. So it's a really useful tool. There's no setup time. It's instant access to your business. $20 a month with no contract. So it's a great business tool. Yeah, so if you want to see more around what's going on inside your business, then come and talk to us at Paymark and come and experience the Paymark Insights products and get a better understanding of your business from day one. So as I said, more information, you can contact us here. So you can visit paymark.co.nz or you can search Paymark Insights. Email us at the support@paymark.co.nz or give us a call on 0800 Paymark. So if you're interested around more insights into your business, if you're a larger business, a corporate enterprise, you can come and talk to us. We can also create some bespoke insights products for your particular business and really make sure that you maximize the opportunities that you see in your business. So I'm going to now hand you over to Jason. He's going to take you through some awesome actionable tips to get your store ready for Christmas. So you've seen the insights, you've seen what's coming, you've seen what's happening. Jason will take you through really how you can maximize all those opportunities and make sure you have one of the most successful and profitable Christmases that you've had so far. So I'm going to hand you over to Jason from Neto, and yeah, we'll take you through some real good, solid tips on how to transform your business this Christmas.
Thanks, Darren. Look, I think it's a really exciting insight you've given to that, and let's move on. I'll just switch over now to, so I'm taking over the slides, just one sec. Right. So hopefully you can see my slides now. If not, just sing out and we'll correct it. So, look, what are some actionable tips to get your store ready for Christmas? I guess, the first thing you need to look at is, Christmas decorations aren't just for bricks and mortar stores. Your retail website should also get into that festive spirit. Have you thought about applying a Christmas variation to your usual theme? Making use of those traditional red, green, gold, and silver colors, and look at putting onto your website, holiday themed images, just so that people understand, this is the time of year that you need to focus on Christmas. Potentially you could create special categories, themes with merchandise and seasonal gifts. They could feature predominantly on your homepage. Maybe introduce badges explaining delivery timeframes, such as order by the 21st December for Christmas delivery. Or if you're planning big online sales during this silly season, which are generally higher than normal, as what Darren has shown in his insights, make sure you're not got enough technical infrastructure, including your bandwidth to support those higher transaction volumes that you're going to get through this period of time. Have you considered extending your festive theme into social profiles like Facebook? The festive season is a great opportunity to engage your followers with themed content and promotions. So while you're redecorating your website, don't forget to glam up your social media profiles with a bit of that green, red, and gold that we talked about before. Potentially, you can offer discounts and incentives to purchase. Also look at sharing timely, relevant, and useful content tailored to customers. Some good examples, have been, if you're a hardware seller out there, you could create a series of DIY Christmas project videos. If you're a kitchen store, you could share Christmas recipes from staff members and customers. If you're a lighting electrical retailer, run a feature on Christmas lights in your local area, share photos with your customers of their light displays, all just to create that hype and theatre around that time. Everyone who loves pets and costumes, so if you've got a pet shop, you could share a series of dressed up pet photos on your Facebook page. You could even put a pair of these ideas with a competition to win a relative prize where customers post their pictures, and this is a great way to get user content happening up on your website. Now, I guess the tip here is that, just be careful that you're not making everything about Christmas, because you're likely to overwhelm your followers. Christmas is always a hectic time of the year, so make sure you're adequately staffed on all the busier days, and give your co-workers some downtime to decompress. If co-workers are tired, they're going to relay that within their customer service, so you want them at their best. Most customers do their gift shopping on the Saturday about a week before Christmas. So, some of the key dates, as what Darren's already talked about, to focus on, especially with your staffing levels. Saturday the 16th of December coming up, Sunday the 17th, and also the Thursday the 21st of December. As these are all busy times, and just make sure your staffing levels are at the right levels. And based on the past dates, these are forecast to be also very busy this year. Also look at reviewing for, Boxing Day sales on Tuesday, December the 26th, and New Year for, getting rid of that stock, and clearing it out for stock take, getting your stock take lower. Also review your staffing levels of anyone who supports your online sales processes, including online and phone-based customer support. This can include IT services and anyone who handles order management and fulfillment. Discuss with your carrier company or freight company what their delivering time is over the Christmas period. Be prepared for spikes in online sales on different dates from in-store sales, and as customers want to know what to allow for in those delivery times. Black Friday on the 24th of November and Cyber Monday on the 27th of November are all key sale periods. These sales periods originated from the US but are now catching on in New Zealand. And if you're planning on participating, you'll need to have the resources in place to avoid that click frenzy style disappointment. Also, streamline your warehouse operations to make picking, packing, and fulfillment as easy as possible for your workers. To manage the increase in staff, you may need to bring on extra staff. Remember that you'll need enough time to train them adequately and build their confidence before the season rolls around. This isn't always feasible, and you may find it more efficient to find alternatives, such as rehiring former staff who are keen to earn those extra dollars over the Christmas period, and they are simply easier to onboard. It's critical to closely manage your stock as you head into the high sales period, or you risk one of two profit-eating outcomes. One, run out of stock and your customers go and buy elsewhere and end up, thinking, well, is this a customer, is this a merchant I need to trade with in the future? Or you end up with leftover stock because you can't move without heavy discounts? So I guess some tips here. Firstly, look at the trends. Go back to your prior sales history and inventory history. And the good thing about Neto is that makes it really easy for merchants to do that. Identify which products or categories usually sell well over the Christmas period and stock more of them. Also check whether your sales are currently higher than during the same period last year. This could indicate a rising market. Is business confidence or sentiment in the retail sector that you're trading in positive or gloomy? Have you made adjustments for this in your sales units? Keep on top of stock counts. Don't get the nasty surprise of running out of stock when you're not expecting it. Track your stock levels and place replenishment orders as soon as possible, remembering that your suppliers are also handling increased volumes over this festive season and may not be able to manage rush orders. Are your suppliers closing up around Christmas? Have you discussed with the key suppliers covering date closures over public holidays and short weeks? And then, if that's the case, then you may need to adjust your sales order quantities and frequency to ensure that you don't run out of stock. Don't forget your non-inventory Christmas supplies. Have you got enough wrapping paper, gift bags and ribbons to make it easy and accessible and convenient for customers to have gift wrapping at purchase? Look at clearing your stock now. Clear out your slow-moving stock by bundling it into a promotional deal as an extra incentive for your customers to buy. As mentioned, New Year's is a great time to sell through slow-moving stock at reduced prices. Christmas can be a stressful time for shoppers too, as they try to buy the best gifts while sticking to a tight budget. You can help by reassuring them that when they shop with you, they're making a smart decision. Maybe categorize your products appropriately to help them find the right gifts. Here are gifts under $20. Here are gifts for teenagers. Here's gifts for him. Here's gifts for her. You can easily set up these categories in Neto. Offer gift cards for those who are unsure about what to buy and don't want to give cash as a gift. An attractive option for retailers, as this can generate income up front and it also reduces the number of returns and exchanges. Wrap it up. As I previously mentioned, a complimentary gift wrapping service will save customers time and is especially convenient if they're delivering a gift directly to the recipient. Even if they plan to deliver the gift in person, the polished look, the professional wrapping can add that extra touch of class, and it's an opportunity for you to promote your brand. Look at offering or discount shipping. 69% of shoppers are more likely to buy from online stores that offer free shipping. Free or discounted shipping is a wonderful extra gift you can offer your customers at this time of year. But if the costs are prohibitive for you, be upfront about your shipping costs. Don't add them as a surprise late in the checkout process, or you'll lose 28% of your shoppers. Highlight your returns policy. Customers are more likely to buy if they know they can return an unwanted gift. Did you know 76% of shoppers viewing a company's return policy before they place their order? And then 51% of shoppers abandoning their cart if the returns process isn't easy and convenient for them. Today, we're really excited about giving you an exclusive webinar offer. This offer is only available now from Paymark and Neto. The offer comprises of a 2-month free Neto subscription and a 3-month free click payment subscription. Why should you be doing this? Well, Neto is the only retail management platform that provides a complete solution for e-commerce, inventory fulfillment, and point of sale. Customers that use Neto typically experience 40% revenue growth and 70% improved efficiency. So click on the link to activate this offer now. Thanks, Darren, and everyone for joining us now. We're now putting up a quick poll to help us ensure that we're creating really relevant webinars. Please take the time to fill it out. Thank you.